Hey guys, how are you all doing? Welcome back to the channel and the end of the year. MTN Awards, the best of the best 2021. So in this video, I'm going to go through my personal picks and then we will move on to the public vote, the MTN viewers, what you guys have voted for. I've literally just ended the votes for best album and tracks of the year, so the results are as fresh as I can get them to give people time to get in and vote. I did leave it to run a little bit longer so that the people with the time difference, like America and things like that, can have their say. I've got a bit of a following in America, so it wouldn't be fair to end it just after a couple of hours. Let them 24 hours or more, and yeah, people can come in and vote, anyone with the time difference and stuff. So we will start off with, there's a couple of categories. We will start off with, we'll do tracks of the year. For me personally, there's 5 places, top 5. It's been really hard to get this down. There's like top 50, but top 5. So we will start with number 5, which is Sleep Token, Alkaline. It was the first single that we heard from the new album, the first track back, and I believe they have now got a new producer as well. So it was a fresh new sound for Sleep Token, but still their trademark copyright sound. And I loved it. Thought the video was cool, and it was a really good track to build up to the album coming out, which was called This Place Will Become Your Tomb. I should really know that if you watch on later on in the video. So yeah, 5 definitely goes to Sleep Token with Alkaline. Track 4, The City Is Ours, Death of Me. I have listened to that song so many times. It is so good. The whole album, to be fair, is brilliant. If you haven't checked it out yet, The City Is Ours, Coma, go and check that album out. But Death of Me, for me, was one of probably the best tracks on the album. Mikey's cleans and that are phenomenal. And there's a nice part where he goes really high as well. So I give that my 4th. Number 3, Caskets, Hopes and Dreams. The one that killed me. The one that completely broke me. Takes 3rd place. If you haven't heard of Caskets, UK band, Lost Souls was their debut album. Go and listen to Hopes and Dreams, or go and listen to the entire album, to be fair. But definitely go and give Hopes and Dreams a listen. But get the tissues, because it's one of them. Now, track 2, or place number 2. And this was a tough one, because number 1 has definitely been listened to. I based this decision on Spotify listens, the one I have listened to the most on Spotify. So in 2nd place, and with only about 52 listens separating them, was Lorna Shore, To The Hellfire. It was a hell of a fucking song. It really was. The reaction was hysterical. People have loved that video since it went up. But I gave number 2 to Lorna Shore with To The Hellfire. Number 1, and purely down to listens alone, this took 1st place because I couldn't decide which one I loved more. But it had to go to Ice Nine Kills with The Shower Scene, the song dedicated to Psycho. That song has been listened to over 271 times on Spotify. So yeah, that takes number 1, and to be fair, probably my favourite track off the album, if not counting Farewell to Flesh. But that took number 1 for me. Ice Nine Kills with The Shower Scene. And again, you'll probably see a trend starting to happen when it comes to that band. But yeah, they were my top 5 tracks of this year. To get a little bit of a sub-vote in for you, a little bit of a sub-thing, I did do 2 songs that were the Heartbreakers of the Year, for me personally anyway. And this one was very close. This one was very, very close. I think the winner of this one was just for the lyrics alone, the way the lyrics are written. But there was two songs in this category. And for number 2, I gave to Spirit Box with Constance. Still can't listen to it. Still cannot listen to that song. And there's an acoustic version now as well. Phenomenal. Really, really good song. But in 1st place, and there could only be one song for this year, for the Heartbreaker of the Year, was Caskets with Hopes and Dreams. Because that song is just something else. It really is. The way it's sung, the way it's written, the way it's performed on the album. I need to see that live. I really do. Someone just passed me a tissue when I eventually make it to see a Casket show. So yeah, we will move on. Before we do the albums last. Album of the year we will do last on my picks. Favourite discoveries of 2021. And I must say, there was probably only one that I had not heard of before or hadn't listened to at all, that really stuck out to me. And when they dropped their EP/album, it was brilliant. It's fucking unreal. And that, for me, is Orbit Culture. A couple of people were suggesting I listen to them in the comments. Then it got bigger and bigger and bigger until I did. And the quality, they really are. It's different. It's a different sound. A lot of kind of like Metallica influences in there. But if Metallica were like current day, almost, some of the riffs in there. And I really enjoyed that EP. So, favourite discovery of 2021 definitely has to be the Orbit Culture. Probably EP album, but the band in general, I definitely need to keep up to date with them from now on and see what they release in the future. But they're brilliant. If you haven't heard of them, most definitely go and check out Orbit Culture. Very, very good band. Yeah. So, next one. Best gig of the year. It was easy. I only went to one because of fucking lockdown and Boris the haircut mong. So, yes, best gig of the year for me. The only one that me and Em managed to get to was Architects in Liverpool. Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. No support band, no nothing. It was just doors, get a drink, Architects, 2-hour set. Old stuff, new stuff, unreal. And that was the first gig back just after the lockdown lifted. We wasn't sure it was going to go ahead. And it went ahead. So, yeah, Architects in Liverpool, the O2 Academy, was the gig of the year because it was the only one I went to. So it was the only one I could pick. But there we go. And last, but by no means least, before we move on to the albums, a band to watch in 2022. Now, this band are friends of mine, and I think that they are definitely onto something with the music that I've heard, the unmixed stuff, but I think just with their dedication and the drive and the passion they've got for making music, I think that Ghost Wish definitely need to be a band to watch in 2022. I've done the reaction to their only song in existence at the minute that they've publicly released under their own channel as well. No labels, nothing like that, no promo channels, just doing it themselves. They are two people, Cam and Jake, both very good friends of mine, and Em as well. And if there's one band I'd say to you have to watch in 2022 and keep an eye on, it is most definitely Ghost Wish, because I've heard some of their later stuff that's going to be dropping soon. It's only before it's mixed, it's not quite mastered yet, and damn, is it good. So, yeah, what we got with Entropy was good. Jake's vocal has just come on so much in the last couple of months that he's been working on, so seriously, a band to watch in 2022 has to go to Ghost Wish. Friends of mine, can't wait to see what they do. Hope they really do well. And yeah, I mean, they've got over 4,000 views on their current single. So go and check that one out as well. The reaction to that is on the channel, but go over to their channel themselves, Ghost Wish. It's Ghost Space Wish, and give them a subscribe and a like and drop them a comment because they are two very, very talented guys. Right, we will move on to the big one, the albums of the year. And there's 5 in this one as well. This one, for me, probably was the hardest it's ever been. Just in general, even if I didn't have this YouTube channel, it was the hardest to pick the best albums because this year has been absolutely phenomenal for music and releases in general. So again, there is 5 in this section. Number 5, Spirit Box, Eternal Blue. A lot of people are probably going to be like, you fucking what? That should have been near the top. Spirit Box, Eternal Blue. Absolutely phenomenal album. Don't get me wrong. Phenomenal album. Really, really good tracks. I love Spirit Box. I am a fan of Spirit Box. But I just think that as good as that album was, in my personal opinion, there was better. But it definitely had to be in the top 5. 100%. For me, I don't just pick albums on certain tracks. I've seen a lot of people doing like these kind of things and posting their top 5, top 10, whatever, on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and stuff, and they're picking albums based on certain tracks. You can't give an album the best album of the year if it's only got 1 or 2 standout tracks on it. It has to be consistently good. The way you stack these albums is that every track has to be good. You have to You have to have some form of consistency and a pattern, and that's what makes an album. Otherwise, they just get best track of the year. And again, tracks of the year for me were very, very hard to pick, but there we go. Number 4, now this has been up and down and everywhere and left, right and centre in positions and things like that. But track 4 for me, I gave to Scion with the self-titled album. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. Jared Dines gave me Howard Jones and current day kill switch engage sound if Howard is still in the band. That's what the Scion album was. So I gave it to number 4, which, considering it only came out last month, or this month, was it this month? I think it was this month. They did well to place in the top 5. So number 4 was Scion self-titled album. Number 3, Sleep Token. This Place Will Become Your Tomb. I have loved this band since I fucking get your words out eventually. Since I first ever listened to them, and it was Truant that got me into them. I remember watching his reaction to Jaws, and I was hooked. Instantly in, like, who the fuck are this band? What is this band all about? I then got to see them live, which the first time I got to see them live was questionable, because there was a lot of backing tracks and miming and stuff going on, but it was the last date on the tour. And I've since seen other live clips and live things of them and that, and yeah, the guy can sing. The guy can most definitely sing. He does not need any backing tracks or anything, but it was the last date that we seen them in Liverpool, and you can't blame him for being fucked. How the drummer still had arms on that day, I have no idea. But yeah, for me, the Sleep Token album was better than the last album. Some people will disagree. I just think it flowed better. It just had a better kind of pattern to it. You can stick it on, just press play and let it run. It's one of them albums. So yeah, Sleep Token, This Place Will Become Your Tomb is number 3 in my top albums this year. Now, the top 2. The top 2. This one was a hard one, because up until First Place released, this album was my album of the year. So it was very, very close. But number 1 just takes the piss when we move on to that in a minute. Number 2 for me, Caskets, Lost Souls. Unbelievable album. The thing that you've got to consider with this album is this is their debut album. This wasn't like the 3rd or 4th or 5th album. This was their debut album. And it was pretty much perfect. I don't think you could have released a better album as your first album if you're a band like Caskets. I just don't think you can. And coming off the back of them having to change the name and then still managing to get the album out and having to redesign everything but the C logo, because they had to keep that, I think they smashed it. They had an unbelievable year getting signed. And I think that album, had number 1 had not come out, takes it all day long for me. But there can only be one winner, and I'm sorry that nothing this year comes close, and I don't think will ever come close. It's going to take something damn special. Luckily, we are moving into a new year, so this can't be number 1 next year, but nothing this year, in my opinion, comes even close to number 1, which was Ice Nine Kills, Welcome to Horrorwood. That album is probably one of the best albums I have ever listened to, ever. From track 1 to the end of the album, there is not one bad song. It is an album you can press play, let it run, and you will not get bored. I have listened to that album on repeat while I've been doing things. I press play and just let it play. 100%. And then I don't know how many times I've done that. Like, it's one of them albums, and it's very rare, and I've said this a few times when it comes to albums, it's very rare, nowadays especially, that you will get an album that every single song is just as good as the previous one or the next track that's coming along. And Ice Nine Kills, I think it's their best album they've ever made. I think it's better than the Silver Screen 1. I think for them, they've just laid down a challenge to most people in how you make an album. And I think that they're possibly going to struggle to make an album as good as that one in the future. Because that was just unbelievably, stupidly good. And for me, there could only be one winner when I listen to that album. And as much as I love Caskets, and I really do adore that album, the Ice Nine Kills one was just bang. And I know that that might not be fair because the Caskets album is their debut album. Ice Nine Kills, obviously an established band, but you can't take away how good it is. You can't. You can't deny that that is probably one of the best metalcore albums in probably the last 10 to 15 years. It's that good. And I do not say that lightly. So there we go. Number 1, Ice Nine Kills, Welcome to Horrorwood, The Silver Scream 2. Unbelievable. Seriously unbelievable. So, we move on to what you guys think are the tracks of the year and the albums of the year. Again, 5 places. So, in place number 5 for track of the year, you guys voted for Eskimo Callboy with Pump It, which I can't say fairer than that. That was a hell of a song. Hell of a song. There was a lot more as well that had been added in that had 1 vote on each one and 1 or 2 votes on each one. These ones were the larger voted for. So I could have put the entire list, but I think you guys added something ridiculous, like 62 extra tracks to what I put on there. And it was insane. So trying to move it down to the top 5. But in 5th place, Eskimo Callboy with Pump It. And yeah, I can agree. It was fucking unbelievable. It was a phenomenal song, the video, everything about it. Yeah. In 4th place, Caskets, Drowned in Emotion. The Caskets fans were pretty hardcore on this. And I do have a big following of Caskets fans, especially after doing the whole album, being a UK reactor, obviously always promoting the boys. I've done pretty much every song they've released, even their older stuff. I discovered them before Lost Souls was even thought of, I think, with their old EPs and stuff. So, yeah, their fans have been around on this channel for a long time, and they're all lovely people. So number 4 was Caskets with Drowned in Emotion. Number 3, you guys voted for Lorna Shore, To the Hellfire. I thought that one may have won with you guys because there's a lot of people that like that song, and there's a lot of people that like the reaction to that. So, in 3rd place was Lorna Shore, To the Hellfire. In 2nd place, now this one was an interesting one, because this band actually shared my link around to their fans, and between this and 1st place, I think there's 3 votes in it, and we're talking hundreds of votes. So, between 2nd and 1st, it may as well be joint 1st, because it was super close. But in 2nd place, it is Alleviate with Die For Me, which was a hell of a song. But Alleviate themselves actually shared my link to the voting on their Instagram story. So they got a lot of votes from their fans. It's nice to see. It's nice to see bands actually sharing it around. You know, anyone could enter. Anyone could vote. You got 1 vote per person, per like click of the link if you're on your IP address and stuff, to make it a little bit fairer. But Alleviate actually took it upon themselves to share it on their story, and now the massive influx of votes, and came from pretty much nowhere, to be fair. Eskimo Callboy were leading for a while, and they finished in 5th. So 2nd place goes to Alleviate, Die For Me, and there was 3 votes in this. For 1st place, track of the year for the MTN viewers was Caskets, Hopes and Dreams, which I have to agree, hell of a song. Hell of a song. It's my best heartbreak song of the year because it just kills me off. But the Caskets fans are insane. They are hardcore, and they voted for the band that they love. So 1st place for the MTN viewers was Caskets with Hopes and Dreams, which you can't say fairer than that. Very, very good song. So you guys have taste. We will move on then to the big one. The big one is the albums of the year voted for by you guys. And it was an interesting list, and very similar to mine in certain places. But yeah, in 5th place, the MTN viewers voted for Sleep Token, This Place Will Become Your Tomb. Very, very popular album. Very, very good album. So, yeah, Sleep Token, This Place Will Become Your Tomb in 5th place. In 4th place, and this one was in my top 5 at one point, and is a very, very good album as well. This year has been horrible for music, in a good way, but horrible in a way to pick a top 5, because this album could very easily win. It could very easily be in any of the places. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, but you guys give 4th place to Error with the self-titled album, Error. Very, very good album. Fucking unbelievably good band. And yeah, I agree with that one. In 3rd place, you gave it to Spirit Box with Eternal Blue. These guys were always going to be in the top 5. From the day that I put this vote live, Spirit Box at one point were leading by a good chunk. And then, well, you'll see what happened, because they were leading by a good chunk. And it was a good album. It definitely was. It was in my top 5. You guys agree with me. You ranked it a little bit higher than I did. But they're a huge band now. They are stupidly big now, Spirit Box. And are definitely a band I do want to see live at some point in time. So, number 2. You guys agreed with me. Number 2 was Caskets, Lost Souls. I gave them 2nd place as well. So interesting to see how we've both got a similar opinion. Lost Souls by Caskets, 2nd place for the MTN viewers. And yeah, I have to agree. Because in 1st place, you guys again went with me. You agreed with what I thought. Ice Nine Kills, Welcome to Horrorwood. Nothing comes close, people. It just doesn't. It doesn't. For me to say best album of the year, for the viewers to agree, the reactions were really good as well. But yeah, Ice Nine Kills, album of the year for me, album of the year for you guys, and that was a lot closer than my vote would have been. Caskets and Ice Nine Kills were very, very close in the vote. I think there was about 10, 11 votes in that one. So, very close again. The Caskets fans are just insane, people. They really are. For them to have 2 tracks in the viewers' vote to top 5, an album 2nd place, it just goes to show that it's not just me saying it. People do like that band, but Ice Nine Kills, Welcome to Horrorwood, The Silver Scream 2, I don't think there's an album that comes close to it. You know, I am the biggest Ginger fan. They didn't even get in my top 5. That's how competitive this year's releases were, and how just purely how good music was in the last year. And that shocked me. I put Ginger in the top 5 the minute that album came out after one listen, because I thought it was phenomenal. But then it was just silly. 2021 for music, given what we went through with the pandemic, was just silly. It's probably one of the best years that I can remember for albums and for tracks, especially for the fact that bands couldn't tour. They could barely promote themselves. There was less avenues to go down in terms of getting their music out there. But the internet stepped up, and a lot more people stayed in and watched YouTube and listened on Spotify and streamed music on Apple Music and things like that. And it was just a silly year for music. Probably one of the best for our particular genre anyway. Metalcore, alternative, sometimes heavy rock, alternative music. All the subgenres of the alternative variety. It's just been a ridiculously good year for music. If 2022 is even as half as good as 2021, I will be super happy. And it's been super, super hard to even pick a top 5, because there's bands that didn't make the top 5 that deserve to be in there, but there's just no room to put them, because to give that band the position in the top 5, you've got to take a band out, and I couldn't justify it, and it's silly. I probably could have done a top 100. Like, the amount of new music I've listened to this year, and the amount of new music to come out of already established artists, you can't keep up with it. Like, I physically can't keep up with it. I need to possibly make one of these forms with the list on it, so that it's publicly accessible, so you guys can vote for what songs you want to see come off the list, because I can't keep up with it. I just go in and go, that one or that one, that's been on a while, we'll pick that one. So maybe it's time to give you guys a little bit more of a say on what content gets made, rather than just taking suggestions here, there, and everywhere. Like, you physically vote, and the top voted song of that day gets done and gets took off the list. I don't know, something like that. But it was so cool to see the constant changing of the orders as well. Like, I think Ice Nine Kills for the viewers' vote was second place at midday today, and it won by only a little bit. But the Caskets fans were going after it crazy. The Alleviate fans were going crazy on the tracks of the year. And it was so cool being able to see the switch around happening and people having their say and the difference of opinions. And that's the beauty of music. There's something for everyone. What someone else hates, someone else may love, and vice versa. So it was really cool to see you guys going at it and really giving your opinions and stuff. And I really enjoyed it. I think next year I might do more sections and more categories and give your guys a chance to pick out what you thought was the Heartbreaker of the Year or Gig of the Year. You know, Show of the Year, whatever. Maybe Letdown of the Year. I was gonna put one of them in. I was gonna put a section in for Letdown of the Year, but this is more of a celebration. I don't want to put any band down for saying, oh, their album was shit, because at the end of the day, it's an opinion. It's not fact. People may agree with me. People may disagree with me, but I think for the year we've just had, especially with the restrictions in place, I don't think it was fair. And it's a bit of a dick move to come out and say, well, that album was just totally the shittest album of the year. When, in your opinion, it may be, but in someone else's opinion, it may not be. I've seen so many people put an Architects in their top 5. It's on my bigger list, but it's not in my top 5. But then again, my Gig of the Year was Architects. It's just crazy the way it all works. But there we go. There we go. There we go with the awards for another year. I seriously hope 2022 is easy to pick, because this year is just, it's silly. You really can't decide. The only one for me that's nailed on for Album of the Year and that deserves its place at number 1 is Ice Nine Kills. The rest of them could be anywhere. Like, it could be anywhere. Caskets could even just be taking joint. It's so fucking hard to decide. I wanted to put the City of Czars in there with Coma, because that was their debut album, and it's like, what do I do? Who do I take out to put them in? And I had to stick with it and go, no, this is what I'm going with. This is my decision. Boom. The subscribers can pick for theirs. Theirs can change all the time. It's up to them when it goes. But for me, Album of the Year is nailed on. I had to do it. You guys decided the same as well. So there we go. Hopefully you enjoyed that. That is the best of 2021. Done for another year. Thank God. And yeah, it's been a crazy year. I know I'll put it in my my best of, or no, my 2-year anniversary video. It was just saying a massive thank you and stuff like that. But again, a massive thank you to everyone who watches the channel, because if there was no one watching, we wouldn't have that, the MTN viewers vote. We wouldn't have all of you people voting. I think there was over 1,000 in total, which is crazy. It really is. But the Alleviate sharing it on their socials definitely put the votes up a lot. And like I say, I thought they were going to win. They were in first place for a while. And yeah, there's just a lot of last minute voting was getting done, and the Caskets fans just went fucking ballistic. And there you go. They very nearly, I think at one point, the MTN viewers were saying the Caskets had the track of the year and the album of the year. That's how close it was. That's a loyal hardcore fan base right there. But that's how it came out. So yeah, I will leave it there, people. Thank you very much for watching. Really appreciate all the support this year. Thank you for viewing everything and liking things and commenting and suggesting and now voting in the awards. There you go. That is what you picked as the best. And some damn good picks in there. But there we go. I will leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. I will see you all on the next video. But until then, yeah. Bye for now.